My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, welcome to the 22nd Ordinary Sunday of the year. For today's reflection, we are given a challenging passage once again from the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 14, verses 1, then from 7 to 14. The heading given here is the conduct of invited guests and hosts. The first verse of chapter 14 goes like this. On a Sabbath, Jesus went to dine at the home of one of the leading Pharisees, and the people there were observing him carefully. He told a parable to those who had been invited, noticing how they were choosing the places of honor at the table. Therefore, Jesus goes to tell them, when you are invited by someone to a wedding banquet, do not recline at table in the place of honor. Do a more distinguished guest than you may have been invited by him. And the host who invited both of you may approach you and say, give your place to this man. And then you would proceed with embarrassment to take the lowest place. Rather, when you are invited, go and take the lowest place, so that when the host comes to you, he may say, my friend, move up to a higher position. Then you will enjoy the esteem of your companions at the table. Now, this is what Jesus has observed when he was invited to a leading Pharisees. A leading Pharisees means an eminent person in that locality who may be a rich person, a wealthy person. But Jesus notices, Jesus is a good observer. Or a scientist, he has to have a good observation. Similarly, a preacher, a teacher has to observe very nicely what is going around. And Jesus observes, and on the spot, Jesus tried to convey, give a good news, a message for the people, those who are come for the banquet, to bring immediate change in them. Then and there, Jesus looks for an opportunity to give the right teaching, to give the right stuff for our betterment, for our life. Here too, Jesus did not concentrate on what was being placed before him for his meal. Rather, he observed the action of each and every one. According to that action, Jesus is raising certain questions before us. Are we acting for recognition, or are we acting for the greater glory of God? How do we pay priority? Are we pay priority to our earthly actions, or are we pay priority for spiritual actions? And through this passage, Jesus calls for a profound internal shift away from pride and self-importance towards a self-emptying approach to life and service. Often everyone is like to be recognized. Everybody likes to be recognized Everybody seeks importance in the society. But Jesus' way of seeking importance or gaining recognition is different. Different from the worldly teachers, different from the worldly approach, different from the worldly actions, different from the worldly priorities. Jesus lays emphasis on how one should approach or one should go to a banquet or to a place where he is invited. And therefore, Jesus tells when we behave as a humble and a simple human being, when you are invited, go and take the lowest place so that when the host comes to you, he may say, friend, move up to a higher position. So, higher position has to be given by others, not by our own self-seeking. Today, many politicians do this in the public, seeking greater recognition. And even when the person moves around, if the cameraman does not focus on him, he shouts at him, he calls him and asks him to focus on him more and more. These all worldly priorities, worldly actions. And Jesus further goes, who has to be invited? Not eminent persons. Jesus says in St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 14, verse 12 onwards, then he said to the host who invited him, when you hold a lunch or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or your wealthy neighbors, in case they may invite you back and you have repayment. Rather, when you hold your banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and blessed indeed will you be because of their inability to repay you. For you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. So, my dear brothers and sisters, here too, Jesus lays emphasis on whom we should invite. Usually, when we have a function or a ceremony at our home, we think first the pyramidical level. We make the list of the persons who have to be invited. First, the eminent person around our locality, or the officials around our localities, then our closest family members and closest relatives and closest friends, and then we come to the lower categories. And when there is a problem of the amount to be spent, then we usually cut out those persons who will not be able to repay or recognize or recall us for their functions. And therefore, we only invite those persons who will be able to come for our functions and whose functions we will be able to go. Sometimes even the distance makes a difference. So when the distance is too longer, you technically cut off their names and just at the end tell, sorry, we have somehow forgotten it. We don't know how we forgot it. Or they will say a lie. We had posted it, an invitation to you. We sent by speed post. Did you not get it? Like that people will start acting. But Jesus, he urges we believers to invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind, those who have no means to reciprocate or repay us. And therefore, Jesus' way of understanding of a function or understanding of giving a banquet or dinner or lunch is completely different. Though 2000 years have passed, still we all pay importance to the guest who can repay us who can reciprocate us, or who can give us more than what we have given to them. So therefore, our world, our way of understanding of the world, of the spiritual world, which we need to attain, is completely different. Jesus' way of understanding is completely different. And therefore, Jesus here pays attention towards four type of L: the least, the last, the lowest, and the lowest. These are the four people Jesus lays emphasis, pays attention towards them, towards whom, while we are living on this earth, we need to pay attention. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, what we need to learn from today's gospel, is that we need to become a good observer. Because only through observation, various scientific inventions are made. Similarly, only through various observation, many become good preachers, because good preachers always are good narrators. They narrate good short stories, good incidents that they have observed in their lives. And therefore, we need to become a good observer. While becoming good observer, we need to concentrate more on, not on the earthly actions, or not on the earthly activities, but on the spiritual actions and the spiritual activities. How you and I have to live the life that is given to each one of us to be lived on this earth. We need to concentrate more towards the crippled, the blind, the poor, the handicapped, the unheard, the unnoticed. But rather, we should minimize our attention towards those people who are well-to-do in the society, who are rich, who are wealthy, who are eminent. Because when we pay attention towards them, we are not going to gain much, because we will be repaid by them. We will be reciprocated by them. And therefore, Jesus is telling us to pay attention towards the cripple, towards the blind, towards the poor, towards the handicapped, towards those persons who are considered in the society as the untouchables, those who are considered lower in the society. And therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, let us learn from Jesus, who is meek and humble of heart. And therefore, let us too become meek and humble of heart, and let us concentrate more towards the spiritual priorities, spiritual actions. Amen.